Adam Smale here. We're going to talk about voice leading on guitar made as easy as possible. What it is, how to do it, and why it's important. So download that free PDF below and let's get started. We will likely be using some chord shapes that you may know, but maybe you'll learn some new chord shapes in the process. It may be helpful to watch the part 1 video up here. It's necessary only if the chord shapes I'm using in this video look completely foreign to you. This video should stand on its own because it's about voice leading, not about how to construct chords like in part 1. Here's not what good voice leading is.
What's wrong? Everything's wrong. He's touching everything, he's ruining everything. And hey, I'm getting a heart attack already.
Here is a much better solution. Music is often simply about finding solutions to problems. With voice leading, what you should be asking yourself first is, what changes? What can stay the same? So now we think, what actually needs to be changed? Keep as many notes the same as possible. And if we keep going further still, change what needs to change, but choose the nearest note each time while keeping as many notes the same as possible. You now have a very simple definition of voice leading. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So let's get to work and voice lead through some common chord progressions. Let's use the definition we boiled down earlier on a different chord progression. Pick a starting point, then decide I'm going to voice lead up or down. Let's start with a drop 3 voicing with the root on the bottom for D minor 7. Our notes from bottom to top for D minor will be D at the 10th fret, a C at the 10th fret, an F at the 10th fret, and an A at the 10th fret. And let's voice lead down the neck. So moving from D minor to a G7, both chords have D and F in common. So we'll leave them exactly where they are. So 2 notes will stay the same and 2 will change. The C will drop to a B and the A will drop to a G. Not always, but many times, in many cases, 2 notes remain the same, 2 change. Now, we have a voicing for G7 that was smooth. So let's keep going. In order to get to the C chord, now our B and G will stay the same. The D and the F will change. The D drops to a C and the F drops to an E. Now we arrive at our C major 7 voicing from this to this. The C and the E and the G will stay the same. It's just the B that will change to A. So this B right here on the 4th string on the 9th fret will move to an A on the 7th fret. And it goes like this, from here to there. Notice I did leave my 4th finger down. And I only had to move 3 fingers. Now we have A minor 7. So between A minor 7 and D minor 7, the C and the A remain the same. And the G and the B drop down thusly. So we end up moving from here to here. And now we have a new voicing for D minor 7. We want to get to a G7. So in this case, the F and the D are going to remain the same. The A and the C drop down to the C drops down to a B, and the A drops down to a G. So we end up getting this happening. And then to get back to a C, we're going to have the B remain the same because the B and the G are in a C major 7 chord, but the D and the F have to change. The D drops down to a C, the F drops down to an E. So we get this. The whole point is to have a totally different outcome each pass through the progression or the song that you are working on. Keep going for as long as you can through the chord progression many, many times. You want to practice it closer to a real world situation. So you want it to have a different outcome every time so that you can always land on your feet and be able to go any direction you want.
And you want to know something else? I'm going to work 50 times harder, and I'm going to be 50 times more famous than you.
Now that you have a little bit of this under your belt, try it on a blues voice leading up as well as down. Also, try playing 2 chord voicings per measure. You can even take it further and play a new chord voicing on every beat. By the way, now is a good time to suggest that you do this exercise with as many different voicings and their inversions that you can possibly think of on as many songs as possible, and you'll be playing like a mini orchestra. There are less traditional ways that sound ultra modern and are most definitely worthy of exploration. Perhaps that could be covered in a future video. I'll tell you what, if you're interested in me doing a video on more modern approach to voice leading, let me know in the comments below. I highly advise that you also try playing through a chord progression where the chords are less related, meaning they're not from the same key. There will be a lot less notes in common. For this next example, let's try using drop 2 voicings. We all know that Giant Steps is a challenging song. not only to solo over, but to play the chords smoothly as well. Here's the first 8 measures. In the free PDF below, I will include a set of chord changes to 1 or maybe 2 common songs to get you used to thinking and playing this way. And hopefully, you'll start to incorporate good voice leading in your playing. Stay tuned for my next video on how to voice lead single notes. Like, subscribe if you haven't yet. It really, truly helps my channel grow and get the word out to you and more people like you looking for good information. If you click on the bell icon, you get notified when I put out my next video. Otherwise, you wouldn't be notified.